Hello everyone, and this is Comfortable Shoes Studio. I'm Les, and this is another episode of art journaling. I've been working on this series of pages in my art journal or sketchbook, whatever you want to call it, which is using a cartoony version of me along with some text and a collage background. And my last episode, I did this page with a map in the background. I had another chunk of map, and I have decided I'm going to continue with using the map on this next page. So we're gonna get out my glue book here and start gluing some stuff up. So I'm using Uhu glue stick, which is my favorite glue stick. It's just a really solid performing glue stick. I've also never had an instance where my Uhu has failed on me, whereas I've had other glue sticks fail on me in the past. So and I am attempting to get a really good coverage of glue on this background paper. I'm trying to be less fussy with my collage pieces when it comes to the individual small pieces of collage, but not for this, because I am going to go in and add some watercolor. I'm going to tone this. Now normally I would tone my page or the collage material in advance, but I'm not doing that with this for today. All right, there's that, and here's my little container with a baby wipe that I keep reusing until it's too cruddy to be used again, or until I use it for paint. And I'm going to use a catalyst tool to really get this adhered. Oop, getting a little glue seepage. That tells me I really got things glued down properly. All right, nice adhesion there. Okay, now I think I'm gonna go with some gold. I'm pulled this out of my stash and I added a bunch of water, and there's dog hair in it. There is literally, I think, dog hair in everything I own at this point. So I'm going to use some of this quinacridone gold and I think magenta. Add a little bit of water to that. And I'm going to use this big old catalyst brush. And let's load that up with some gold. Oh God, look at that color. That color is just great. What a fantastic color. I love it. So there's a reason why I keep going back to that gold color. So good. Just really intense when used with less water and more pigment in it. And this is a really old photocopied map that I got in a recycled stash from my local recycle group on Facebook. gonna move some of that color around. Unfortunately, the paper is actually quite absorbent and not, I don't want to get too much more color on there. Actually, I think I was going to add some, do I want to add some of the quinacridone magenta? Let's get a little pink down in, ooh, that's a lot of pink. That was more than I intended. I'm just gonna move some of that over to this page. Now that the page over here is wet, it's a little less absorbent. We'll get some of that pink over on this page. I've been using this sketchbook since I believe the end of September, and I've just moved past the halfway point. Yeah, so getting a little bit of like orangey pink going on. I find the this might be quinacridone rose, not magenta. The combination of the quinacridones, rose or magenta, and the gold actually will make a really nice light skin tone. If you're doing any sort of portraiture that is more on the realistic side and you're doing Caucasian people or people. All right. So yesterday I did some work where I was flipping through a book. It was basically an advertising book. It was a book of ads for freelance advertising people who make cartoons and whatnot for advertising. They make art for advertising. But anyway, I was flipping through this book and I was like recognizing that there were a lot of different styles of drawing people. Some of them were very arts based. Some of them were really kind of cartoony and different and kind of fun. So I just sat down and I did a bunch of little sketches based off of some of those images in that book. And it was really good practice to just kind of observe. You know, I wasn't trying to do it a perfect take on what was there. And I was using a Bic 4-color to do the initial drawing because I just happened to have it on hand, and I used it to add a little bit of color. That clown motif coming up. Sorry if you hate clowns as much as I do, but like really kind of like looking at the cartoon look. Like this guy is like looking super creepy down here. This guy's shifty. It looks like someone's trying to draw like an Elvis lookalike, and this is Geraldo. If you're old enough to remember Geraldo, that it wasn't actually Geraldo, but it looks like Geraldo to me. And then this super sad little dude down here, like thinking about how you capture that sort of like sadness, like his eyes are in shadows, a little tiny mouth. This guy's shifty because his eyes are in shadow, and he's got this creepy grin. Like the sheer joy on this woman's face. And then like showing like the thick glasses on this one. Anyway, just some really great practice for observing and thinking about cartoons and whatnot. And then I did some testing of paper for a potential upcoming new sketchbook. I have another Everything Everywhere journal or sketchbook ready to go that my friend Johnny made me. I always started thinking about like my next sketchbook when I'm about at the halfway point of my current sketchbook. It's probably, oh, that's not dry. That's probably why I end up, you know, never finishing a sketchbook. I should probably wait a little longer. I gotta hit that with the gun again. All right, dry enough. If you don't have a heat gun and you don't want to buy a new art tool, A hairdryer will do a similar job. The reason I like a heat gun over a hairdryer is the fact that a heat gun has a lower volume of air running through it, so for me it's not blowing the paint all over the place in the same way a hairdryer does. I've used a hairdryer in the past. I often still use a hairdryer, but it is something that I think works really well when you are looking for like just to dry it out. And the bonus of using a hairdryer, if it has a cool button, you can also use it on your gel plate. Don't ever use a hot hairdryer or hot heat gun on your gel plate. It will melt it. So don't do that. Alright, so I'm going to use this for the character. Oops. Gotta cut that out. So I was going to use a piece of the map, but the map is too similar. Use the scissors I want. Okay, then I can do the hat separately. I don't know. I keep putting the image on this side of the page, but I think I prefer it when it's on this side. I think part of that is like this stuff is just really puffy. Where... See, this is the curse of ADHD. Like, I don't think put things back where they belong, and then I have to search for my stuff. This clip just works a little better. There we go. Now I'm flat. Okay, so here's my character. I might trim that down a little bit so the character fits. I haven't put the character here. Maybe I have an idea. Might not be my best idea, but we're gonna go with it. Alright, so there's the character. Face is gonna go there. And this is a pretty thin sheet of paper, so I'm not gonna do the edging. Let's tear that. Hopefully my noise cancellation is working, because big truck just went by, as has been the norm of late. A lot of big trucks going by. Oh, I didn't have my... Alright, now I've remembered to turn on my actual microphone. The microphone on the camera was probably working, but the noise cancellation on that does not work as well, so you probably have heard all kinds of big trucks going by, because big trucks are always going by here. Alright, so I'm going to do... little brain, I think. Again, if you've been here more than a half a minute, you know how much I love brains as a symbol in my work. Comes up again and again and again. I do like that anatomical stuff. That looks more like a butt right now, but we'll get it looking more brainy. All right, this is much thicker paper, So I am going to edge this, and edging it, I'm going to use my old paint marker, which I've managed to smear water all over from my water container. All right. And so to edge it, I'm just going around and pushing the edge of this really heavy paper. I think it's billed as 140 pound. I don't know if that's actually true. And there we go. Okay. So I am going to hit this with the heat gun, otherwise I'm going to end up smearing black everywhere. Okay. Yeah, this is a little too for a brain. And I'm going to try this glue. Actually, no, I'm not, because it is solid. We're going to go back to this glue, because it's not solid. It's not a solid block of glue. This is very good glue, by the way. But if you're looking for a really fine applicator tip, I've had very good luck with Dollar Tree and their fine applicator. They have this little squeezy bottle. Glue. Okay, so there's the character and there's the brain, and I want to use a extra fine paint pen. Actually, nope, I'm gonna go with my bold Uniball Signo, and I realize this one might not be working so well because it is almost empty. But I'm gonna go in and add some of the brain structure here. I am not being anatomically correct at all, and I'm going to switch to, actually that's a brand new one, because that one is pretty much, oh yeah, look at that, that's better. That other one is pretty much dead. I'm just going to add these little structures in this brain. And again, this is, you know, don't at me because this isn't anatomically correct. I know. We're just having fun with it. I'm just trying to get some of the little folds and things that do show up in brain images. And I'm trying to be pretty bold with this, not detail oriented, just getting some bold lines. I could get in there with a micro tip or a medium tip version of this pen and get some, you know, extra fine details. But that's not what I'm after today. Okay, now we're gonna. So this page here is gessoed, and that has been a bit of an issue for these pens. It does have a tendency to break down the tip of the pen a little bit. So just be careful with the tips of your pen if you're like me and you do use gesso on your gel plate or you're scraping gesso across a page. When you draw over the top of that, it will damage the tip of your gel pens, or can. It won't always. All right. And some eyebrows in there. No hat this time because, well, we got a brain. So I haven't used brains as a symbol in my work for a while, but it has historically been something that I use. A lot of my older work had brains, had some clip art images of brains. I think I may have even carved a brain rubber stamp. I know I have a stash somewhere of gear rubber stamps that I have carved in the past. I should see if I could find those, because those would be fun to use in this context of like making art journal pages with repetitive images and using kind of comics imagery. I've been very much enjoying that. And this cartoon me, I've been enjoying that as well. I'm going to hit this with the heat gun just to dry this gel ink on the page. You probably can't see that the gel ink is still wet because I did install a polarized filter. It might show, but I was trying to cut down on the amount of glare on wet pages with a polarized filter on the camera. Should have helped, unless I'm like flipping it so you can see the glare. All right, that's going to stick down pretty easily, and I think, sorry about that. I got alarms on alarms on alarms so that I'm never late to work. I think to glue this to the page, actually, I think I like that better. I think I like this character. I like the brain on top of the gold better than I like it on top of the pink. So we're going to use tape runner because tape runner works well for this kind of thing. I think I've talked about it before that tape runners are generally not my favorite way of adhering things. I made a bunch of sketchbooks in the past where I used tape runners to hold the covers in place, and I had an issue with it failing on me. It didn't fail on anyone who bought one of the journals from it, or no one complained about it. Maybe it did, but no one said anything to me about it. I'm gonna drop that down like that. Okay. And then I'm going to burnish that down with a piece of this super thin, inadequate 3x5 card and just my fingernail. If you had a bone folder, you could use that. Heck, you could even burnish down with a glue stick. There we go. That's nice and stuck down. Now, words. Words. Where are we going with the words? I think blue. Yep, I think blue's where we want to go. And I think, let's see, the words art is even more important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Than ever. All right. 7, possibly 7 words. I think. I don't want this too rigid. I think I want to go with a little bit of hand torn with some torn edges. Art is even more. Important than ever. Do 3s. I think that fits there really well. That. Yeah, okay. That's going to work. Now, how am I going to letter this? Tempted to use just the gel pen. Tempted to use an orange paint marker, but I found like this, I like this orange paint marker, but it's not as opaque as I would like, and it's not as opaque as I would like because the pigment leaked out of it at some point. I don't know if it leaked out of it when I had it or after. Actually, I think this might be another instance where white works really well. Let me grab my paint markers here. I got the white and the black. And I don't actually have a good, there's not a good piece of that. I think I'm just going to go with the black. Black is safe. So we're going to make it fun-ish. I'm actually really enjoying the little splattery marks that I get from this particular paint marker. Some of this page is very smooth. Some of it has a lot of texture. I'm just fattening up some of these lines. Okay, I'm going to tear off that little chunk. I'm going to give this a shake. Fatten up some of the lines, bring them down. Not being precise here, just having some fun. No mistakes, just learning opportunities, ways of problem solving and making things work for my page. Hoping to get some more of the splatters on there. I might see if I can get some ink splatters. Getting some. All right, so that's dry. I'm going to give that a little bit of a tear. not dry yet. Okay. What I do want to do is, let's see, I'm going to cover up my page. I'm going to get some ink splatters here, or paint splatters. Let's see. I can get some white splatters. All right, so I'm going to hit that with a heat gun, and then I'm going to go back in and make the black letters a little cleaner. So I recently started doing a little bit of digital work, and this is all stuff that you can do digitally, but I don't know, I think there's something about doing it physically that is really important and valid. And doing physical art like this, like in real life, if you want to call it that, it really does improve digital art a lot. It's something like I try to tell the kids that I work with. We only do physical work in my studio where I work, but a lot of the kids work digitally, and that's fine. But trying to get the kids to invest in physical artwork is difficult because they really want to just do the digital stuff, and making them understand that the physical actually helps their digital work is very, very difficult. Because the physical work, there's no undo button, there's no going back so easily and erasing something that they deem as a mistake. You get ink blobs, you get stuff like this where you have to go back and clean up your text. Whereas if this were digital, I would just move the layer forward, I would just take this text, hit move forward, and that would be the end of it. And instead of moving it forward, I have to go back in with my paint marker and clean it up. And that is an extra step that, I think adds a lot to the piece, and I don't know. It's a worthwhile endeavor. And it really does, like, learning how to do this, I think really does add to the digital work a lot. I know my understanding of physical art has definitely added to my capabilities when it comes to digital, and I'm just a noob when it comes to digital. All right, there are my collage pieces. And let's see. I think I'm gonna go for this. I don't know if you can hear that. My neighbor's getting picked up by their ride. And so the ride is like tapping on their horn up and down the street. It's very annoying. All right, we got some jaunty angles going there. I like that. All right, there we go. There's the piece. I'm pretty happy with that. This will flatten out as it dries a little more and as I close the journal. I actually feel like the face needs an outline. I'm gonna come in with the paint marker and give that face. Oops, there's a problem. Not really a problem. How do I work through it? It's always the question. I'm just gonna accentuate the jawline a little bit. Same thing up here. Fatten that up. All right. There we go. Finished page. Pretty happy with that. And all right, as usual, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, hit that subscription button. If you really, really enjoyed this, share this somewhere, and that way it'll get some eyes on this that maybe might not have seen it otherwise. And if you really, really, really liked it, head over to my Ko-fi. There's a link down in the description, and just follow it. You don't have to buy anything. You can just follow my Ko-fi. You can get some of my writing in advance, some of my art you'll see in advance long before it comes out on YouTube, and then long before it comes out on my blog. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, and bye.